Welcome to El Salvador.
So the time has come to leave Cihuatán, and we have had an absolutely awesome time.
Fabulous.
And our friends Edwin and Katia from EC Tours have come and picked us up, and we are off to go and see an indigo farm.
Ooh. As we're driving along, you can actually see the crops here just beside us, and they are sugar cane, and also they're growing corn. So it's really nice as you drive through the countryside to see all the different crops that they're using. Well, we have a really special treat. Edwin from EC Tours has actually arranged for us to come and visit an indigo farm. How absolutely amazing is that? And we've just arrived on this finca, and it's just so beautiful. We're in a lovely rural setting, which is Marianne's favourite place. And it's just been so lovely to see the countryside change and open up into the agricultural land. It's beautiful.
So on the finca that we are visiting, Mario's just explained that they've got a number of different crops. They have the indigo, they have some cashew nuts and some hibiscus. And I have never seen an indigo plant before in my life, but behind me here there is a huge crop of them. And indigo, as we've said on previous videos, used to be the largest crop and export here of El Salvador, but was replaced by coffee. But yeah, it's growing right here.
As this is an organic farm, they actually grow species and use and farm trees that they can use for other purposes. And this tree, which is called the neem tree, which is N-E-E-M tree, they actually use the leaves for pesticide. How fabulous! And have a look at this beautiful grove of trees.
Buenos dias. And behind us, these trees are actually cashew trees. I've never seen a cashew tree before. They're not actually in season at the moment, but normally they have fruit, and then the seed comes from the fruit like a shell. Crack it open and you have a cashew nut that we're all used to eating. Amazing.
I was just remarking to Mario that there are so many butterflies here, and as a tourist to this country, we are fascinated by the wildlife, and the butterflies are everywhere. And he reminded me and pointed out quite rightly that as an organic farmer, they encourage wildlife. They don't pesticide, they don't kill all the insects, and of course with that you get all these beautiful butterflies. They've also got a small variety of pineapple. They don't grow massive, but they are incredibly sweet. So there are 3 different tanks. First of all, the indigo plants, it actually comes from the leaves, are put into this main first tank, and it's left here weighed down with stone, so it's completely submerged for 18 hours. After 18 hours in the first tank, the water has sort of like a greeny yellowy tinge, and then it's actually released into the next tank down, and it's stirred and aerated for about an hour. And that aeration process with big paddles actually causes it to turn to a really dark blue. You can actually see that there's a little bit of residue sediment that's actually still there. It's then brought down into this last chamber that you can see right behind me, and what will happen here is it will actually split between a liquid and like a muddy, sludgy kind of mixture. It's left for about 18 hours, and then the liquid is actually siphoned off. and you're left with like a sludgy, silty blue mixture.
So after they take the sludge from the second tank, they put it into these cloths and the liquid drains out. Now they collect the liquid because it still looks blue, and they double filter it. They pour it back in, and eventually the liquid, after a couple of times, runs clear. Indigo that you can see behind us is cropped during the rainy season and is actually all done by hand, by shears. They don't have big machines that come and crop it. And they actually have a whopping 30 hectares of indigo here, and probably the largest indigo farm in El Salvador.
The interesting fact about organic farming, you have husbandry of trees, and we've just found out that the reason that they have the cashew trees as well alongside the indigo, the fleshy bit they break down and use and turn into some kind of vinegar, and the vinegar they use to adhere the indigo to the cloth. That is organic farming at its best. Husbandry of trees, love it. And then I've just found on this finca, this farm here, they have a worm farm. They make their own compost to enrich their compost. They use these worms. It's just lovely. There are bugs everywhere because there are no pesticides or insecticides, but every bug is useful here.
So the sludge that we saw in the nets is then brought up to the main buildings here, and they actually put them into an oven at a very low temperature because it's very important not to burn the indigo, otherwise obviously it would change the color. And after about 24 hours it turns into this hard, dry formation that they then mill and crush to form indigo powder.
So the reason that Mario had the trays of indigo brought out onto the floor in daylight so we could see it is because this is an organic farm. They literally take it true to the word. So what they do is there is actually no electricity here on this finca, and to heat and cook the indigo and to dry it out on a slow oven, they use wood falls. So any fallen branches or trees on this land are collected by some of the guys that work here, and that's their job, so that there is fuel to heat the ovens. The majority of the indigo gets sold to Germany, and it tends to go into beauty products and including hair dyes. So I told him I was happy to support the indigo trade every 6 weeks.
So now we've arrived at one of El Salvador's historic sites, and it's actually a Mayan site called Cihuatán. So in this room full of fascinating information about the Mayan culture, we've got a map here which actually shows Mesoamerica, and the area in green is where the Mayans settled. This particular Mayan site here in El Salvador, Cihuatán, was actually built shortly after Lake Ilopango was created during the big eruption back in around 430 AD. So this site was created about 900 AD and is one of the oldest remaining sites that they've discovered here in El Salvador. So the archaeological sites here in El Salvador are open 6 days a week. They're all closed on Mondays. This particular site, the entrance is free of charge. However, the other sites in El Salvador, they charge just $3 entrance fee to come in and have a look around. So the main structure here is where the really important, the leaders would have had their houses on top of this structure. And it's just, I love these Mayan sites because it really gets the imagination going of what life would have been like back in the day here. And there's not that much known about the Mayan culture because a lot of it wasn't documented as some other cultures. So we've climbed up to the top of the main structure to get an aerial view Great views from up here, absolutely stunning, all the way around the hills and the mountains and the rest of the site here.
There's so much nature. We are in full-blown nature.
Just the birds you see flying around, it's just absolutely beautiful to be exploring El Salvador like this.
And this site is absolutely pristine. They obviously take their archaeology, their archaeological history
seriously.
Seriously.
They do.
Absolutely immaculate. It's been really well looked after.
And I can see a couple of animals in the
What are
distance. I'm going to zoom in the camera.
Chris has got the camera out and they are goats. Yay, we love goats. Along this beautiful garden of trees, this, oh, I don't know how to call it. And for anybody wondering why I've got foliage in my hair, this is actually from the bug repellent tree, and I'm just giving it a go to see if it will stop the things buzzing around my face.
I couldn't pronounce it. That is the name of the plant.
Into a liquid and into a... sorry, cut. Okay, cut.